Fortunately for you, you have a very good relationship with your chairman here at Hull City. Yeah. Given what you achieved last season, what's the benchmark that he's set for you this time around? What would be success?
Well, I don't think anything changes. I think I sat here last year and said, what do we need to achieve? And I think I quoted as saying, well, listen, we have to stay in the Premier League. We're Hull at the end of the day, and we've done fantastically well over the last couple of years. We're second season. The club's never been in twice in a row, so that's the challenge. And like I said last year, can we have a run in a cup competition? You know, we've got the extra thing with Europe this year too, which we play again on Thursday. So that's new to us all. And we've got to try and... But the main thing for our club is to stay in the Premier League. That's what we've got to do. We've seen the improvements the club have made over 24 months. So can we stay in another 24 months and keep improving and keep getting bigger and keep getting better?
You refer to the amount of fixtures you're going to have. You obviously need a big squad to be able to handle those sufficiently well. Troy Deeney's been mentioned with you all week. I notice now Danny Welbeck's name has cropped up. Is there any truth in either of those? Are you
there's no real truth in any of them, if I'm being honest. I mean, of course, now with what's happened with Shane Long leaving, then of course we'll be in the market for a replacement. And you're right, the squad is what you're talking about with Europe. I've come to the conclusion that whoever doesn't play tomorrow will play on Thursday. I think that's the only way we can approach it. We did it last week in Stuttgart, where we played a team against Trenchant on the Thursday and totally changed the team. And it's one way now of playing the squad, and I think it's the only way really that we can do it. So if the lads who are not playing tomorrow will definitely play on Thursday.
Shane Long's been quoted as saying the move to Southampton came out of the blue for him. Yeah. Given the fixtures you've got coming up, was it a tough decision to agree to that deal?
Well, I think it's like anything in football. I think, you know, if you're even Cristiano Ronaldo, you're Luis Suarez, you have a price, and we thought for the offer which came in was too good to turn down. Now we've got to find a replacement. You're right. But we hope that we can, and we will, invest the money into the squad and make the squad bigger and better, and obviously hope that we can find a replacement that can be the equivalent of a Shane Long.
I mean, quite clearly from the way you've been talking already this morning, you expect the battle in the Premier League to be tough, if not tougher than it was last season, not just at the top as well at the bottom.
Well, I've been in it a long time now, and it doesn't get any easier. You see all the other teams from top to bottom making the squads bigger and better. The transfer money has dwarfed what it did last year and what clubs have spent. Everybody wants to have a slice of the Premier League. We're one of 20 clubs and we're desperate to stay in there. But then again, if I speak to all of the managers, all of them want to, especially in the bottom half of the division. And there's about 10 of us all in the same boat, where there's 5 or 6 who are going to compete at the very, very top of the Premier League. There's the rest of us who have to stay in this division, and that's got to be our aim. We've got to be the top of our division if we can. And
one of those clearly is going to be Harry Redknapp at QPR, and he's been quite active in the summer as well in the transfer market.
Well, very quietly. He's done a fantastic job, and the experience he's got has proved to everybody, if he had to prove anything, that he is a real top manager. You know, for what he's done at QPR, there were favourites to go up last year. He had to, you know, whittle down the squad and let a lot of the squad go, and he still got them to promotion. And very, very cleverly, again, he's went and bought 4 or 5 players who are going to strengthen them. So we couldn't have wished for a more difficult start. QPR away, full house, I'm going to imagine. The excitement of them being back in the Premier League is going to be, with Harry at the helm and the players they've brought in, that's the challenge to them too. I'm sure Harry will be saying exactly the same, that they have to stay in the division and they are one of our competitors. So a good result against them tomorrow would do great.
Tables turned a little bit from 12 months ago when Hull, of course, were the new boys.
Yeah, and there's a bit more expectation now. And therein lies a problem too, with the expectation of everybody. Everybody expects us to be better than we were last year. That's got to be the aim. But we've got to meet what we did last year, and if we can manage that, that'll be great.
Best of luck.
Thank you. Steve, dreaded second season syndrome, isn't it? I mean,
Well, the club's never been past it, has it? And in my experience, the second season is always the most difficult because the expectation is risen a bit. You know, we've brought in 4 or 5, 6 players to strengthen the squad, but everybody's expectation is that, you know, we're going to stay in the division comfortably. I'm certainly aware that it's going to be difficult. This league and everybody else has improved their squads. If you look at squad by squad, they've all got bigger and better. And we hope that we've done enough, and certainly by the end of the window, we've done enough to make sure that we stay there.
the trenching time, I mean, do you feel that's given you a bit of a competitive edge ahead of the new season?
Well, it was difficult to play trenching because we were still in pre-season. And as I said at the time, we were most games you're actually preparing for the game. You know, it was stuck in the middle of pre-season, so we were actually physically working the players in between the 2 ties. So yes, I think it stood us in good stead because the games were competitive, and then we had a really, really competitive game last week in Stuttgart, which went down well too. So we've had a decent start to pre-season, but the real thing comes out. The proper ball comes out tomorrow, and let's hope we're ready for it.
And how much pressure do you feel to...
Sorry, I do apologise.
Sorry. Replacing Shane Long, the money you've got for him, I mean, how much pressure do you feel to replace
Well,
him?
I think the word pressure becomes too much. Listen, we in our opinion, we got what we thought was a fabulous offer. So it's up to me now to go and reinvest that money into the squad and make the squad bigger and better. And yes, we've got irons in the fire to make an instant replacement, but also of what lies ahead. Really, if I'm being honest, I would still like at least another 3 players to come through the doors. With the money that we've got for Shane, that allows me to do that. So we'll be active over the next few weeks, and as I said, all about for me is to make sure the squad gets bigger and better.
Are you say close to signing a replacement?
No, not at the moment, no. And I've seen things written in papers. A national paper yesterday ran a headline, and it's ludicrous, basically. It's just pie in the sky. But that's what we face at the minute, you know, us managers. So the media and the social stuff that goes around, some of it is pure nonsense.
Did you see Harry Redknapp on Tuesday when you saw Tony Pulis as well?
Yes, I've seen... There was 10 of us there, and I've seen Harry too, yeah.
He is talking about you being the yardstick now, you are the model to follow. That's what he was talking about in his press conference yesterday, and certainly the formation that you were using last season.
Well, it's quite unbelievable that the formation keeps getting talked about, and we've used it here for the past couple of years, really. You know, we got out the Championship playing that way, the vast majority of it. We've had a certain success of playing that way. I've certainly enjoyed playing that way. I've done it a couple of times in the past. A lot of years ago, I had it at Crystal Palace, and it worked very, very well. So it's something that, you know, we've used all pre-season, and if Harry's saying all them nice things, then I know what he's trying to do. But I mean, it'd be interesting to see if he does it, if he plays the same way too. And he did last week in pre-season, so it'll be interesting, and an interesting matchup tomorrow if we both play the same way.
You need to put on kind of a showcase of how to do it for him, really, don't you? It's put on a little...
Listen, Harry's been, I mean, even bringing in Glenn Hoddle this week is, for me, it just shows what Harry's about. He's brought in 2 ex-England managers who've worked for him, and it just shows what the experience he's got, that he believes that Glenn can come in and with his views on the coaching and the way he wants to play is very, very interesting. And I think that's one thing with Harry. He's always evolving and always changing, and it's something we can all learn from.
It also, I mean, maybe it shows a man who's completely confident in his own abilities, because bringing in ex-England managers underneath you, there's also...
Well, there's certain times where, of course, I mean, and Harry Redknapp again has proved, you know, what a very, very good manager he is. You have to look at his record and what he's done, how his teams play. You know, he's always looking to try and entertain, always looking for trying to do something different. And he's done a wonderful job at QPR, and very, very quietly he's gone on and brought 4 or 5 really good players into them. So there'll be a threat this year, and he's managed to hang on to Loic Remy, which I believe is key for them. If he stays around, then he's a very, very good striker. And in the bottom half of the division, which, no disrespect to QPR, but like ourselves, he's arguably the best player in the bottom half of the division with his talents, what he's got. So it'll be interesting if he hangs on to him.
Can I just clarify one of the answers you gave earlier about Shane Long? When you sold Shane, did you have his replacement in mind?
No.
So at the moment you've got a completely blank sheet of paper, have you?
That would be wrong. No, that would be wrong. That would be wrong to say that. But it came so quickly with Shane. I never envisaged this time last week that Shane Long would not be with us. However, as a manager, you always have to have something up your sleeve. There's always people who is on the radar, shall we put it. Sometimes you can't get them. Sometimes, it's not possible to bring them in. But make no mistake, with the money we've got, we'll invest it back into the squad, and I keep repeating that. And for me, that will make us bigger and better and stronger. If we can bring in, 2-3 players with the money we've just got from Shane Long, then for me, we'll be better.
And one name that hasn't been mentioned yet, but was in the papers yesterday, was Van der Vaart. Is that somebody that could come to Hull City?
Another load of rubbish. I've been linked, I think, Stu tell me, I think I've been linked with nearly 100 players this summer, and we've bought 5. So either I don't know what's happening in journalism or media at the moment, or where it's going or how it's doing, but it just seems to me that they throw it out there and I have to answer questions on it. And no, that's not true.